not going to get into the whole constitutional voting law changes or the whole mail-in voting debacle. The mainstream media, social media platforms, basically withholding information, censoring information. Anytime you say anything, even if it's true and valid, they don't agree with, guess what? You're shut down, or you're censored, or you're flagged, or you're fact-checked by fact-checkers who have the same agenda as people in power now. Stop me if you've seen this movie before. You know, you're all locked down. I'm trying to keep you locked down anyway. I mean, it's easier to control people when you have them secured at a location, and when they can't freely socialize with other people in a normal setting and exchange ideas. And the only places they can socialize and exchange ideas you have absolute control over. You control the narrative, and if anybody's not talking in a way that you approve of, you censor or deplatform them. Once again, stop me if you've seen this movie before. You can burn private businesses down. You can destroy small businesses, which were, loot them, which were already damaged and suffering to begin with these lockdowns being initiated. You can do that. You can have a Joe Biden celebration party and pass bottles of wine, champagne back and forth, and drink from the same bottle, no mask, hug all over each other, jump up and down in mass gatherings, just like you could with BLM and Antifa, rioting and destroying, or having your own little, Chaz zone, like they did in Portland. That's not insurrection. No, that's not insurrection, because that's what they want to happen. So even though it literally meets the definition of insurrection, unlike the Capitol protest, which has nothing to do with, nobody got ventilated. There weren't a bunch of guns there. There wasn't an active attempt to take over anything. It was more a statement of intent. Stop fucking with us. Hey. I wasn't there, but I support it. I don't support the violence, but a few bad actors are always going to spoil anything, and that doesn't matter. And that's from any side of the political spectrum, whichever side you take. There's always going to be extremists. They're always going to screw things up. The problem is administration in power now are extremists. That's a problem. And stop me if you've seen this movie, but loyalty tests for the military. This is all part of, if you can't see there's a big plan, a longer game afoot, then you're just not opening your eyes. We've let it happen. I say we, but you have, and I don't like the rhinos, I don't like the dinos, I don't like either of them, but the rhinos literally let this happen. They sat back on their hands and didn't fight when they had the chance. And that's because a lot of them are globalists as well. And while it would benefit them to be the ones with the overriding voting power, they still want to make their money and have their will enforced on a global scale, so they're willing to work with the other globalists on the other side. And they're really on the same side, they just have different ideas about how they want to do things. And we the people have let this happen. So it's really up to we the people to fix this, I would presume. Well, we the people still can. This is all part of the same thing. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. Time magazine laid it out. It's factual. Most of us knew that to begin with, that we're paying attention, rather than and using other sources rather than just the Politburo or whatever. The freaking morons at CNN and MSNBC, the theatrical entertainment, pretend to be news TV. Fox News, well, they ain't much better. Either they're on a short leash or they're in the game, so either way, they can go fuck themselves along with the rest. So, I mean, and erosion of the Second Amendment, you know, they're trying to get on that too. There's a reason they're trying to get on that. So you put that all together: loyalty test for the military, erosion of the Second Amendment, information control or censorship, being fed a certain narrative, and that being the only narrative allowed on all these platforms, alteration of voting laws unconstitutionally. You put all that together, that's not a conspiracy. It's just a plan that was initiated and followed through upon, for sure. So at this point, the only way to reverse this is some sort of extreme action. What that would be, I mean, there's many facets and many ways you could go about this, but in the end, we've let it get so far that only extreme action is going to change things, because they've been instituting and utilizing extreme action this whole time, and it's been allowed to happen because a lot of people are weak, and they just rather hide in their hole and hope things get better and pray to whatever deity or deities they believe in that things get better, rather than actually do something. I do seem to remember that a lot of those religions have something to do with, you know, you take action, and then maybe your divine force, whatever that may be, might give you a hand. You don't just sit and wait for something to happen. You don't just hope things get better without doing something about it, even if it's small. But at this point, doing something small is not in the playbook, I don't think. I don't believe there's a way to get out of this with small action, with more precise action. At this point, it's they've gone full-blown fascist on us, and typically the only way you can counter that is with extremity, with willful purpose and decisive action, meant to basically cut a cancer out, because that's what we've got going on here. So, you know, it's bad. There's you know, the only way there's an end in sight, maybe, is if 2022, you know, we get a bunch of people primaried and get some people in there that are actually more populist than globalist. But even then, you're flipping the coin, hoping this person's not bullshitting you, as politicians do. I mean, typically it's just their actual job at this point. So it's a bleak future. American people deserve better than this. We're being told what to think and what to say and what to do, and that has nothing to do with the free society that we're supposed to hold dear. Nothing whatsoever. This society has fallen apart, and it's been crippled because of the way all the kids being taught in school today are taught to hate themselves if they're white. You know, you shouldn't be taught to hate yourself no matter what your melanin content is. Most normal people don't give a shit about that, but you see the little newsreels exacerbated to like monumental level when somebody says something racist or somebody says something just completely stupid regarding race, and it makes everybody think, oh, well, now it's a huge problem. It's still a huge problem. No, there's just a handful of fucking idiots that care about that shit still. Okay? And the media exacerbates it to make it seem like they're everywhere and they're all over the place. I just don't believe that. I think we are better than that. Though I do think we stick our heads in the sand far too much in this country. That was born out of people picking up rifles and saying, no, go fuck yourself, we're going to do what the fuck we want. So, I mean, I don't know. we've fallen a far cry from what we were, that's for sure. These people saying they're freedom fighters and stuff, they're aligning themselves with like large corporations. You know, spoiler alert, you're not the fucking freedom fighters. You're part of the fascist machine. Yeah, enjoy. When you realize that, you're gonna love that. History will not remember you well unless we do fall to such a point that this type of ideology basically absorbs the rest of what's left of America. In that case, the history books will probably call them freaking heroes until somebody rises up again and changes that. And just remember, you know, Mussolini thought he was a hero. Hitler thought he was a hero. I mean, the villains never think they're the villains. And, you know, just, y'all voted for this. Well, okay, I say y'all voted for this, but a lot of dead people voted for this. It's a lot of provable fraud going on, a lot of provable manipulation going on, a lot of provable tampering going on, and evidently it's just everybody's like, oh well, yeah, I guess it happened. You can't, you know, there's no invalidation of anything that's happened. No, there's no repercussions for manipulating and fixing the system. That you can just do that, and we're all gonna say, oh sure, fine. What the fuck happened to this country? We used to be strong and proud. You know, we'd stand up, puff our chest out, and say, well, you know, you think you're gonna take something from us? Well, you fucking try. And there's a lot of people that still like that, but evidently they're not loud enough. And society's been quashed. I mean, the general pride in America has been quashed over time with the stupid media, with the schools, indoctrination institutions at this point, teaching the kids that you shouldn't be a proud American. You shouldn't be proud of your heritage unless you're a minority, which is extremely offensive. Okay, you should be proud of your heritage no matter what that might be. You know, you say, oh well, the Caucasians and their slavery. Hey, has anybody heard of the goddamn Barbary Coast pirates? Anybody? Anybody remember that? I mean, the history of that. Yeah, they were some of the biggest slave traders back in the day, and there were no Caucasians involved. Okay, and they made any institutions of slavery in this country look like a minor joke. And you look it up. Just look it up. So if we're going to start talking about all of that and people feeling guilty for who they are, then at some point everybody feels guilty for who they are, and that's a non-argument. That's stupid. Because A, nobody alive was involved in that on either side. It's a non-issue. That's that type of thing takes away from the problems that are actually occurring in the present. You know, the past is the past, and you're going to keep dragging it up. You're never going to move forward. And I don't see us moving forward with the administration as it is, with any of them. Maybe the freshman Congress members, some of them we should let stick around, but the rest of them, we should expel them all with extreme prejudice. You know, they should be drug out of those buildings. They are doing us no service. They're in fact doing us a large disservice. They're disgusting power brokers that care nothing for this country. I mean, that's factual. Just look at what they're doing. They care nothing for this country. Nothing. They would just as soon step on the back of your neck and hear the bones crack if they could get another $100 out of it. They don't care. They're old freaking dinosaurs of a bygone era that should be swept aside like the dusty bones they really are. But I guess that's all I've got to say for now. Captain Fox out. Good luck, America.